Hello everyone and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. It's a fresh week, which means there are fresh vendor rolls in the tower. Let's take a look at the Crucible, starting with 0-Day Dilemma Auto Rifle. Persistence, Braced Frame, Appended Magazine, Spray and Play, Danger Close, and a couple of okay side options. And this isn't bad. If you're looking for a Shadow Price Archetype Auto Rifle, you're going to pick this up and run Persistence and Braced Frame. I would do Spray and Play for Crucible and Danger Close for PvE. And it's not going to be a bad option, guys. The only thing that's going to be a downside is you're going to be reloading quite a bit because Brace Frame will drop this down to about 20 or 19. I can't remember exactly how much, but it's going to be a small magazine. Just put it that way. But other than that, not a bad auto rifle to get us started. Next up, the B29 Party Favor. Headseeker, Braced Frame, Feather Mag, Eye of the Storm, and Life Support. Okay. Pretty good pretty good side options here. I would run Steady Hand IS on this for this one in particular, and I would run it with Headseeker, Braced Frame, and Life Support, and I would take it into the Crucible, and I would probably have an okay time. This is not bad at all. If you need a solid workhorse pulse rifle, this could be the one for you this week. Next up, the Hero Formula Scout Rifle, Reactive Reload, Braced Frame, Armor Piercing, Life Support, take a knee, and some okay side options, nothing too great. I would probably run Reflex just because it has improved aim assist, but I would run it with Reactive Reload, Braced Frame, and Life Support, and I would take it into the Crucible and play it at range instead of close up. That way I'm not getting spammed by hand cannons and sidearms. This is going to be a pretty good counter for those in the Crucible. So next up we have Palindrome, always a fan favorite. Reactive Reload, Reinforced Barrel, Lightweight, Relentless Tracker, Spray and Play. Another Crucible option here with Reactive Reload, Reinforced Barrel, and Spray and Play. But, you know, honestly, we've seen better Palindromes than this over the last couple of weeks, so I would pass on that one. You should already have a pretty solid Palindrome. Next up, the Each New Day Fusion Rifle, Hot Swap, Hand-Laid Stock, Enhanced Battery, Battle Runner, and Last Resort. And pretty much the same site. So Hot Swap, Hand-Laid Stock. Hand-Laid Stock is one of my favorite perks on fusion rifles. It makes such a huge difference. Battle Runner and Last Resort is kind of meh, but these two right here are really good on this archetype in the Crucible. I would probably run Battle Runner because I don't really care about Last Resort all that much. But altogether, pretty decent option in the Crucible. I wouldn't use it in PvE, though. Next up, 44 Curtain Call, Full Auto, Rifled Barrel, Quick Draw, Cascade, Battle Runner, Linear. Okay, so not bad, not bad. Full Auto, Rifled Barrel, and I don't care much for Cascade, but I do like Battle Runner on shotguns, because for shotguns, you want to be able to run a little bit quicker. So this is going to be a solid Crucible roll this week. And even PvE, man. This is going to be a solid PvE roll. With the changes that they made to shotguns, they're pretty good. So if you need a good Void shotgun for PvE, there you go. Next up, Anton's Rule Sidearm. We have Hot Swap, Hand Loaded, Casket Mag, Outlaw, Feeding Frenzy. You know, I'm just gonna altogether pass on this one, man. We've seen better sidearms than this, and we could definitely do a lot better. Next up, Event Horizon. We have Unflinching, Armor Piercing, Casket Mag, Army of One, and Mulligan. It just doesn't have it for me this week. I'm gonna pass on that. We've seen better ones. Chaotic Neutral Machine Gun. We have Persistence, Perfect Balance, Rifled Barrel, Life Support, and Spray and Play. So this is gonna be another Crucible option. Only with Persistence, you're not gonna want to just hold down the trigger to this and spam that 31 round magazine. You're gonna burn out of it really, really quickly. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and run Perfect Balance and Life Support and just feather the trigger. You don't want to just hold down that trigger to get Persistence to proc, because in the Crucible, you're going to run out of heavy pretty quick. But Life Support is a fantastic perk to have on machine guns. If we had literally anything else here, this would be a very, very good roll. But because we have Persistence here, it's just an okay roll. But if you want a workhorse Crucible machine gun, this could be your Huckleberry this week. Next up, Something Wicked Rocket Launcher. We have Cluster Bomb, Perfect Balance, Heavy Payload, Grenadier, and Army of One. This one's really good, but you just don't have it over here. So for that, I'm going to say pass, and that wraps it up for the Crucible. Alright, so taking a look at new Monarchy, we have the Assembly 2 Auto Rifle, which is the bullet hose archetype with Hidden Hand, Perfect Balance, Spray and Play, Armor Piercing, and Quick Draw. Over here for our sight options, we do have OEG, which is going to give you a little bit more range, which is always going to be good to have on this archetype. So, yeah, not bad. Another Crucible roll this week. It seems like that's all we get every week now. We have Hidden Hand, Perfect Balance, Armor Piercing. Is going to up the flinch rate on your enemies just a little bitty bit, but not as much as something like High Caliber. If we had High Caliber here, I would say absolutely buy this if you're into this archetype. But because it's Armor Piercing, I'm going to say that this is good, but not great. Next up, we have, get out of here, the Free Will Hand Cannon that comes with Rangefinder, Perfect Balance, Outlaw, Armor Piercing, and Hipfire. So these two are really good to have on a hand cannon, but these just don't do it for me. So I'm going to say pass on this. We've seen better options over the previous weeks. Next up, the Impreacher Sidearm, Rangefinder, Hand-Loaded, Relentless Tracker, Armor Piercing, and Quick Draw. What is it, mandatory that all fucking new Monarchy weapons have Armor Piercing this week? This isn't all that great. You have Rangefinder, Hand-Loaded. If you had high caliber rounds here, I would say go for it, but Armor Piercing on sidearms just doesn't do it for me. So we're going to move on to our next one, which is going to be the Bad Counsel Shotgun. Rangefinder, Perfect Balance, Close and or Personal. Flared Magwell, Quick Draw, doesn't really do it for me. I'm going to say pass. Next up, the Deposition Sniper with Unflinching, Perfect Balance, Triple Tap, Armor Piercing, and Quick Draw. Just doesn't do it for me, man. Perfect Balance is really good to have. Unflinching is good to have. But, I'm going to say pass. It doesn't do it for me. I'm not into that. Next up, First Citizen Machine Gun. Persistence, Perfect Balance, Crowd Control, Armor Piercing, and Hipfire. Literally every weapon except for the shotgun has Armor Piercing rounds from New Monarchy this week. That is silly. Okay, so Persistence and Crowd Control don't really go together all that well, since this one requires you to reload. Or no, you don't have to reload, but you just have to plan your shots a little bit more, space them out, whereas this one requires you to just hold down that magazine. So this is going to be an add control in PvE weapon. Other than that, I would say don't touch it, and that is going to do it for New Monarchy. Let's go to the next one. Taking a look at Dead Orbit, starting with the Extremophile 11 auto rifle, we have Persistence, Perfect Balance, Third Eye, Armor Piercing, and Snapshot. I'm seeing a lot of the same rolls this week, and I'm going to pass on that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Next up, for Dead Orbit, we have the Keystone Scout Rifle. This one comes with Crowd Control, Perfect Balance, Outlaw, Explosive Rounds, and Lightweight. So this could be an interesting roll. Let's see what we have here. We have Reflex, Ranged Lens, which is my personal favorite, and Red Dot. This could be okay in Crucible, man, honestly. Crowd Control with Perfect Balance and Explosive Rounds. You're gonna have some bullets that hit really hard. You pair that with the Ranged Lens, play distances. I'm talking like counter-sniping distances. And you're going to be able to beat a lot of those hand cannons and sidearms. I would say pick this one up if you need a solid Crucible. Yeah, I would take Perfect Balance over Outlaw. But yeah, pick this one up if you want a pretty good Crucible Scout. With Crowd Control, you should be able to 2 or 3 tap a lot of enemies in the Crucible. Next up, Worlds to Come Fusion, Hot Swap, Perfect Balance, Spray and Play, Accelerated Coils, Lightweight. Accelerated Coils is one of those that seems really good, but all it does really is change the archetype to a lower impact, higher charge rate archetype, which, in my opinion, kind of defeats the purpose of you getting this archetype, which is a really good archetype. So I'm going to say pass on this one. If you wanted, you could pick it up and do Lightweight, Perfect Balance, Hot Swap, use it in the Crucible, run crazy fast, and just do all that. But other than that, I'm going to say pass. The Last Ditch Shotgun, Rangefinder, Small Bore, Cascade, Extended Mag, and Hipfire. What do we have over here? We don't have any range boost. Okay, so because we don't have it over here, this isn't a great roll, but it's still a pretty good roll with Rangefinder, Small Bore, and Extended Mag is going to bump you up to 6 rounds. This is going to be more of a PvE shotgun, though, as opposed to Crucible. You could easily use it in Crucible. That Extended Mag is going to be beneficial for the simple fact that you're going to be able to pick up 1 extra special ammo round every time you pull a special box. But other than that, I would say stick to PvE for this one, and you'll probably have a pretty good time. That boost to stability, boost to magazine size, boost to range, you're all good here. That's going to be a fun shotgun. I might actually pick one of these up myself. Next up, Bitter Edge, Trash Archetype, always better options. Firefly, Hammer Forged, Clown Cartridge, High Caliber Quick Draw. If you're into this archetype, you're going to want to run High Caliber, Clown Cartridge, and Firefly. And what you will have is basically a kind of high impact scout rifle that has Firefly but only a 5-round magazine. Honestly, guys, if you want to snipe, this is not the weapon to do it with. Go find yourself something better. Don't waste your time on this. It's a waste of special. I cannot stress that enough. Unto Dust, Rocket Launcher, Grenades and Horseshoes, Javelin, Third Eye, Flared Magwell, Quick Draw. What do we have over here? Do we have any kind of boost to velocity? We do. We have Linear Compensator, we have Javelin, and we have Grenades and Horseshoes. And what we have here is a pretty decent option for Crucible. If you want a solid Crucible rocket launcher, this one could be the one that you have been looking for. So go pick it up, try it out. Not bad. Not bad at all. That does it for Dead Orbit. Let's move on to... let's go to Future War Cult. We'll go up there. Alright, Future War Cult. Starting with the Whale Hand Cannon, we have Reactive Reload, Perfect Balance, Relentless Tracker, Explosive Rounds, Quick Draw. We have Sure Shot, which is always pretty good. I personally prefer True Sight over all of these, though. So I'm going to stick with True Sight, pop on Explosive Rounds. Here I'm going to do Perfect Balance and Reactive Reload, and I'm going to have a pretty decent Crucible Hand Cannon. Nothing spectacular, but a pretty decent Crucible Hand Cannon nonetheless. So I would recommend that. The Waltz Pulse Rifle, we have Rodeo, Perfect Balance, Eye of the Storm, Flared Magwell, Quick Draw. Just doesn't do it for me. I'm not into that. The Waiting, my favorite archetype of fusion rifle. This is the Saladin's Vigil archetype, and this one comes with Rangefinder, Hammer Forged, Spray and Play, Accelerated Coils, Quick Draw. Again, much like the last one that we looked at, this just doesn't do it for me. It has really good range, but honestly, guys, on fusion rifles, you need something for stability. It makes such a huge difference. So because of that, I'm going to say pass. Next up is the Wounded with Crowd Control, Hammer Forged, Unflinching, Explosive Rounds, and Full Auto. Over here, we have a Ranged Lens, which is always great. So this is going to be an interesting roll because Full Auto and Explosive Rounds are both really good to have. Hammer Forged, honestly, is not that big of a deal on this archetype of scout rifle. You much rather want to go with stability here over range, just for ease of shooting. But Crowd Control is it's going to be beneficial for ads. This is actually going to be a pretty good option in the raids, guys. You're going to want to run Explosive Rounds over Full Auto. You're going to want to run Crowd Control. And here, I mean, either one of these is going to be fine. You're not going to notice that much of a difference if you put Hammer Forged on. So if you're flinching a lot in the raids, then unflinching is probably going to be the way to go. But I would run it with a Ranged Lens because you get that little boost to range and stability, as you can see. That's the only side option that's going to give you that. But Explosive Rounds, either one of these, and Crowd Control, and this is going to be a pretty good raid weapon. It's going to be really good for clearing out all those low-level ads. This, honestly, is probably going to be the best PvE scout rifle that we're going to see this week. I really doubt that the Angel's Advocate at Vanguard is going to beat this. So I would definitely say pick this one up if you want a solid raid primary. That's going to be fun. I'm going to pick one of these up myself this week, and I'm probably not going to regret it. Next up, the Wormwood Sidearm. It's going to come with Hot Swap, Fitted Stock, Cascade, High Caliber, and Quick Draw. This one's really good to have on sidearms. This one's really good to have on sidearms. You just don't really have me here. I would say run Fitted Stock, but as you can see, that's not much of a boost to stability. I feel like we've seen better options. What do we have here? We do have True Sight, which is always good. I don't know. This is going to be a good Crucible sidearm, but it's not going to be a great Crucible sidearm. So it's up to you guys whether or not you want to pick that one up. I would personally pass. Next up, the Warpath. We have Grenades and Horseshoes, Heavy Payload, Battle Runner, Flared Magwell, Snapshot. We don't have any boost to velocity with our muzzle option, so I'm going to say pass on this one altogether. And that does it for the FWC. Let's go see what Vanguard has. So looking at the Vanguard Quartermaster, we have the Continental Auto Rifle that comes with third eye, hand-laid stock, rifled barrel, spray and play, and grenadier. This one's really good. This one's okay. Just pass. It's not worth it. Next up, the Parthian Shot Pulse Rifle. We have Head Seeker, small bore, lightweight, Eye of the Storm, and Take a Knee. For this archetype, this just doesn't really do it for me all that much. I'm going to say pass. Next up, we have the Angel's Advocate Scout Rifle with Return to Cinder, small bore, high caliber, rodeo, and Take a Knee. Again, just doesn't do it for me. You guys should definitely already have a better one of these if you picked up the one a few weeks ago that has a perfect Fatebringer roll like the one that I use every day now. Then you have no use for this week. Next up, How Dare You? Hidden Hand, Reinforced Barrel, Lightweight, Mulligan, Last Resort. Just doesn't do it for me. I'm going to say pass. Next up, the X-Astris Fusion Rifle. Hidden Hand, Perfect Balance, Accelerated Coils, Unflinching, and Replenish. So this is going to be a pretty decent Crucible option here, guys, with Hidden Hand, Perfect Balance, and Replenish so that you can get some free special every time you pop your super. And this Perfect Balance is really good to have on this. Stability is so important on fusion rifles, and not a lot of people seem to realize that. And Hidden Hand, just better target acquisition, is never a bad thing. So I would pick this one up. It would be a pretty decent option in the Crucible, and I don't think you would be disappointed. Next up, Teacup Tempest Sidearm, Hot Swap, Snapshot, High Caliber, Zen Moment, Feeding Frenzy. So this is without a doubt going to be the best sidearm roll that we see this week with Hot Swap, High Caliber rounds, and Zen Moment. This is going to be a very stable, very hard-hitting sidearm. I would definitely say pick this one up for Crucible. It's going to be good. Occam's Razor Shotgun, Rangefinder, Reinforced Barrel, Lightweight, Performance Bonus, Army of One. Crucible roll right here, guys. Crucible roll all the way. We don't have the side or the muzzle options over here, unfortunately, but Performance Bonus is going to give you some free ammo every now and then in Crucible, which is going to be good. You're going to want to run Reinforced Barrel for the range boost, combine that with Rangefinder, and you will be pissing people off in the Crucible in no time. So pick that one up if you're a fan of shotguns. Next up, 7th Sense, Trash Archetype, man. Unflinching, Armor Piercing, Small Bore, Underdog, and Life Support. Don't even touch it, man. Seriously. There's so many better snipers out there. Just don't fuck with it. Bone Crusher, Rangefinder, Small Bore, Appended Magazine, Eye of the Storm, Guerrilla Fighter. Just doesn't do it for me this week. Not for that archetype. Disassembly Required, Rocket Launcher, Cluster Bomb, Perfect Balance, Heavy Payload, Vacuum, and Life Support. Okay, so this one just doesn't quite have it. Cluster Bomb's great, Heavy Payload is fantastic, but you just don't have me over here, man. You just don't have me over here. So for that, I'm going to say pass on this week. We have seen better rolls, and that is going to do it for the week, guys. Drop a comment in the box below. Let me know if you picked up any of these weapons and tried them out. Let me know what you think of them. That's going to bring this video to an end. If you enjoyed it, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you for watching, and take care, guys.